Orange Cassidy wins his first AEW Dynamite singles match. Adam Cole returns to NXT, and the ratings are in. Which show reigns supreme this week on the Wednesday Night Wars? We talk about it all next on the Squared Circle Psychobabble. Hello and welcome to the Squared Circle Psychobabble. My name is Michael Valenti. For news, reviews, and conversations on all things pro wrestling, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. So let's review AEW Dynamite and NXT, and we'll start with Dynamite. And it opens up with Cody Rhodes in a master control room talking about the last participants of the AEW TNT Championship Tournament. And after that, we get our first matchup, which is Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin, where the winner faces Cody Rhodes in the tournament. This is actually a rematch from AEW Revolution, and I thought this was a very solid rematch. We got some tie-ins from their previous match in the beginning where Sammy Guevara does the senton over the top rope, where you might remember Darby Allin diving onto Sammy at Revolution. Also, instead of the splash onto a table, this time they do a splash onto a ladder. All this happening before the bell rings. But then when the bell rings, the match is very good. I do love Darby Allin's in-ring psychology in this match by attacking Sammy Guevara's ankle to prevent him from doing high-flying moves. There was a very scary part in this match where Sammy does a 720 flip. It looked like he landed on his head, but just barely got a piece of his head onto Darby Allin. And I really like the finish in this matchup where it was a coffin drop caught by Sammy trying to do a go-to-sleep-like move. I think they're calling it the torture rack knee. And then Darby catches the leg, goes on Last Supper, 1, 2, 3, Darby advances. So we know there was a tease a couple weeks ago where Cody Rhodes and Darby lost a tag team match and Darby attacked Cody. So look for that story to progress in this AEW TNT Championship Tournament. Very good start to the show. After that, we get a video package from Matt Hardy talking about why he's going after the Inner Circle, why he doesn't like Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. But we also get two personalities of Matt Hardy, the first being the broken character and the second being the unkillable character. Basically is the real-life Matt Hardy wearing a leather jacket, hair tied back, explaining why he's going after Jericho. And I felt this was more real. I like the unkillable character. I do like that it's a split personality. We'll see how this goes. I would love to see this more often where you see 1 week the broken character, the next week the unkillable character. We'll see how it goes. After that, Kenny Omega defeating Alan Angels in this match. It was only like 6.5 minutes. And some people saying that Alan Angels got too much offense in. It was way too competitive. But at the same time, Kenny Omega still gets the win. And he didn't do anything wrong. He won, the jobber lost, end deal, right? But here's how I think of this. Now, considering that prior to the match, Taz did a scouting report on the V-trigger knee and the Snapdragon suplex, and then you have Tony Schiavone and Chris Jericho on commentary not even getting Alan Angel's name right. They were calling them Eagles. They were calling them Angles. This was for the majority of the match, too. Like, they could not remember the guy's name. So there, it should have been not that competitive of a match. Now, add that to the fact that Kenny Omega does the V-trigger and Angels kicks out. So now he has to do another V-trigger to get the win. Now, I understand Kenny didn't use his actual finisher, which is the one-winged angel, but the way that they did the package beforehand makes you think that maybe they're trying to convert Kenny to use the V-trigger as his finisher. So either you already killed the V-trigger as a finisher already in this match, or you protect the fact that Kenny had to be extra competitive in this match by not having him use the one-winged angel to win anyway. It's dicey. So I want to know in the comments what you guys thought of that match. Was it too competitive, or was it just fine and Alan Angels actually looks good, can actually lead to bigger and better things for him? We'll find out. After that, a video package from Scorpio Sky telling his story before joining SCU. I love this. I love that they are finally giving a story for Scorpio Sky and for fans to know who he is. I know this guy is the star power of SCU. He's got the most potential, and hopefully this is the first steps towards him being a big single star in AEW and a big push there for when everything's back to normal and he is on AEW on a weekly basis. After that, surprisingly, to me, the match of the night. Orange Cassidy defeats Jimmy Havoc. I honestly, going into this match, I thought I was going to have my inner Jim Cornette come in because you're going to have play kicks, you're going to have staple guns, you're going to have paper cuts. But instead, we actually got a pretty good, decent wrestling match. Jimmy Havoc was very sadistic in this match, just inflicting as much pain as possible onto Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy doing amazing selling throughout this match. And let me tell you, the finish actually helps protect Jimmy Havoc in a way as well. Penelope Ford comes in to attempt interfering. Kip Sabian comes in as well. All this chaos, the ref is distracted from the stuff happening on the outside between Sabian, Ford, and the best friends. Ford tries to go after Cassidy, but Cassidy ducks. Jimmy Havoc stops Penelope Ford, but then Cassidy was able to get this very unique pin onto Havoc, a roll-up for the win, and Orange Cassidy gets his first singles victory in AEW. But then Jimmy Havoc is then protected again by attacking Cassidy with the help of Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford before the best friends come in for the save. And we do know that next week we are getting a no DQ, no count out tag team match where Sabian and Havoc will go up against Chucky T and Trent Beretta. After that, we get some closure. What is this injury that MJF teased, just a couple days ago? It turns out it's a very serious injury, and it is a hangnail from when he was gambling with Sean Spears. I'm an MJF. I'll admit it right now. After seeing this, I'm definitely an MJF, and I was before. I definitely am now. Got MJF on air. Obviously gets people that hate him because he's babying a very ridiculous injury like a hangnail. And a lot of people were concerned about that injury. So one more reason to hate MJF, and he's better than you, and you know it. Let's just face facts. But after that, Wardlow dominates Lee Johnson, throws him around like a rag doll. This looked even worse than when Marco Stunt got thrown around by Lance Archer a couple weeks ago. I loved it. Wardlow looked like $1 million in this squash match. I just wish this should have been done weeks ago, months ago, when Wardlow first appeared in AEW. These are the kind of matches he should have been in. After that, we get a video package of Brodie Lee recruiting Preston Vance into the Dark Order. In my opinion, this was Brodie Lee's best video package with the whole Dark Order thing. Yeah, you can make a connection with Vince McMahon that he looks after former football players that are big, over 6 feet and over 240 pounds. But I think that's a little bit of a stretch in this opinion. I think this is more of a Brodie Lee pitching to Vance that it's a strength in numbers, a dress for success kind of thing, instead of, hey, let's find a way to make fun of Vince McMahon. After that, Brodie Lee squashes Justin Law as he exits. He approaches Marco Stunt, and we find out that we will have a match next week on Dynamite where Marco Stunt will go one-on-one with Brodie Lee. No Luchasaurus, no Jungle Boy, obviously, so Marco's going to have to fend for himself. And most people will probably predict this will end up similar to how he faced Lance Archer a couple weeks ago. After that, the Bubbly Bunch is back. I got to admit, guys, I'm sorry if you loved it, but I'm not a fan of this Bubbly Bunch thing. It's not as bad as the Viking Raiders playing carpool karaoke on Raw earlier this week. But to me, it's pretty damn close. After that, we have our main event. Dustin Rhodes avoids retirement and advances in the AEW TNT tournament with a win over Kip Sabian. Earlier in the match, Dustin injures his knee in the match. Kip does a good job targeting it, so good job there. And again, Penelope Ford tries to interfere in this match, fails, and while Kip Sabian has his eye off of Dustin, Dustin Rhodes ends up getting the victory with a Canadian Destroyer. So for the first time, the Canadian Destroyer actually is a finish. I'm excited because I really hope this ends up being the finisher for Dustin Rhodes for his future matches. This move should be a finisher. I know a lot of people use it. I know a lot of people kick out of it. But maybe if Dustin starts using it, the other wrestlers that use it will use it as much, and it could be protected as a finisher instead of just a move that gets pops all the time. Highlights from this show: Orange Cassidy and Jimmy Havoc was a very good showing. I really love Warlord's dominance, and I love Brodie Lee's video package. The lowlights for me was the Bubbly Bunch and the competitiveness of Kenny Omega. I thought that did not help him trying to get more recognition and try to get a push for him as a single star in AEW. But let's move over to NXT. It starts off with the news that Finn Balor was attacked before the show, and we get Adam Cole returning. So the Velveteen Dream is cutting a promo saying that Finn Balor's not there, but before he can really get a sentence out, Adam Cole comes out, and then after saying a couple things, Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish attack Velveteen Dream from behind. It's a 3-on-1 attack before Keith Lee comes for the save. I thought this was a solid start from the show. I'll admit I'm upset that we didn't get the Finn Balor versus Velveteen Dream match, but you know what? We could save that for a bigger moment when the Dream takes, if or when he takes the title off of Adam Cole. But instead of that, we get a good tag team match lined up, which is the Velveteen Dream and Keith Lee versus Roddy Strong and Adam Cole. Our first match of the night, though, is Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai going up against Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox. I thought this was a fun, high-action tag team match, which ends up where Gonzalez gets a one-arm powerbomb onto Shotzi Blackheart for the win, makes Gonzalez look dominant in this match. After that, we have a video package from Drake Maverick. We all know that he was released from WWE as part of all the releases. To me, I don't know if this was a shoot turned into a work or this was a work all along, trying to get sympathy for Drake Maverick. If it ends up that this was a work and some people still were released, it feels a little in poor taste. I get the intention, like they're trying to get someone, hey, he was released and it's a feel-good story that he won his job back. Now's not the time to do a storyline like that, in my opinion. But nonetheless, Drake Maverick faces Jake Atlas, but then loses in that match. It was an okay match, but I did love the finish where Jake Atlas does the cartwheel DDT for the victory. I like that, and I think that's his finish. So if that is his finishing move, I'm okay with it. Then we get this new video package from Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae revealing their new selfish characters. They're at the dinner table and they're talking about how much good they did for NXT and all they've done for other NXT wrestlers without really the gratitude. And they're saying, you know what? Not anymore. We're going to be selfish and we're going to try being the first married couple to reign as NXT champions. Obviously, Gargano being the men's champion and Candice LeRae being the women's champion. To me, it seemed a little bit long for this video package. And the video effects, when they went black and white and they slowed down the shutter speed, it was distracting. And, not a fan of that. It was good, but they could have toned it down with the video effects, at least the shutter speed thing. That was very distracting to me. Our second in the NXT Interim Cruiserweight Championship match, Tony Nese against Kushida. I thought this was the best match of the three for the night where Kushida gets the win. He's going for the Sakuraba armbar throughout the match, but what it takes for him to finally get it in was this avalanche move that turns into the armbar for the win. Very good finish. Love this finish. Love this move. Kushida looked good in this match and Tony Nese looked good in the loss. So very props there. And then after that, Mia Yim and Charlotte Flair have a face-to-face after a quick match for Mia Yim beating Jessie Camilla. Charlotte Flair is approached, asking for Yim to accept the challenge, which she does. And in the process, Flair calls Mia Yim a good hand and is saying that she's going to make her look like a star, just like Mia Yim made her a star way back when in Charlotte Flair's first match in NXT. Obviously, Yim did not like that, so she gives her like this people's eyebrow look. I like this little back and forth here. It was short, quick, and to the point before Charlotte Flair walks out. And it might be a little predictable that Mia Yim's not going to win this match, but in the process, Mia Yim can look good in a losing effort. Our final NXT Cruiserweight Championship match for this round is next, where El Hijo del Fantasma goes up against Jake Gallagher. I thought it was a decent match, but nothing to get too excited about. This was El Hijo del Fantasma's first match in NXT. Thought it was a good showing for him, but then afterwards, they try to abduct him with the mysterious masked abductors, and Fantasma is able to evade them before they run off. I don't know where they're going with this whole thing. I don't know who's involved. I don't know why they're involved. And honestly, I'm not that invested in it. They're not doing a good job of keeping me interested. But maybe with the people they have captured already, maybe we could see some stuff as to why they were captured. And that might get me more interested in this. So we get to the main event of the night, which is Adam Cole and Roddy Strong going up against Velveteen Dream and Keith Lee. But before the bell even rings, stuff goes to the outside and Bobby Fish gets ejected, even though he says the bell never rang, the bell never rang. But in the process of all that, Keith Lee gets attacked by Damian Priest with a nightstick to the throat. That eliminates Keith Lee from the match. So Velveteen Dream basically is in a handicap match until Dexter Lumis wildly appears in the corner with his death stare, which creeps me the hell out. And he just sticks his hand out for the tag. And he's not moving at all. Before Velveteen Dream was able to finally fight off Cole and Roddy Strong for the hot tag on Lumis. He's beating down everybody. Very good. Bobby Fish manages to run back from the back to interfere in this match. But then Lumis was able to get himself tagged out by Velveteen Dream, do a senton over the rope onto Fish and Roddy Strong. Velveteen Dream takes advantage with a purple Rainmaker elbow from the top rope onto Cole for the win. And before the show goes off air, Tom Phillips lets us know that Adam Cole just pinned the NXT champion, Adam Cole. Yeah, that happened. The same guy pinned himself. We all know it was the Velveteen Dream pinned Adam Cole, but still, mistakes happen, especially when you're in a live setting. It's happened to me before when I've done live videos and live shows. So obviously, Tom Phillips has done the same thing. Highlights from this show, I really liked the women's tag team match. I did like the Flair and Yim exchange, and I liked the Kushida Nice match. However, the lowlights was the possibility of Drake Maverick and this work. Also, the bait and switch of no Balor and Dream match. Not a fan of that, but obviously that could be saved for a later date. That might be better off. But now let's head to the ratings. And so after reigning supreme for 2 weeks in the total viewership, NXT falls to AEW Dynamite in both the ratings and the total viewership. This week, AEW Dynamite gets a 0.25 in the 18 to 49 demographic and reeling in 731,000 viewers, while NXT gets a 0.18 in the 18 to 49 demographic and 665,000 viewers. So which show is better? I got the poll above my head. Comment below which show was better, which match was the match of the night. For me, I think it's pretty obvious if you've gone this far in how I talked about both shows. AEW Dynamite was definitely the superior show this week. A definite bounce back from last week, where I actually said that last week's Dynamite was probably their first skippable episode. This week was a very entertaining episode. Sammy and Darby was a good opener. Dustin and Kip was a good ender. Midway through, we got the good match of Orange Cassidy and Jimmy Havoc. The squash matches with Brodie and Wardlow were good. The video packages were all good, except for the Bubbly Bunch. But NXT, well, it was still a good show. I don't think there was anything there that was like, oh my God, you got to see this. At least with AEW Dynamite, there was some stuff that you could talk about. In case you missed it, we did 2 rounds of the All Elite Wrestling Draft this week, and you could click those on the thumbnail on the screen right now. And for news, reviews, and conversations on all things pro wrestling, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. My name is Michael Valenti. I'll see you on the next episode of the Squared Circle Psychobabble.